That's it. Disqualification. Second headbutt. And Ryan Reber wins on the DQ. And here comes the brawl. That's it. That's it. I got him. I got him. I got him. I got him. Get up. Get him up. Get up. Get off him.
There he is. Awesome.
And I had to get the Wi-Fi set up. I'm getting some ink done on my man's right here. That's the fight tattoo guy right there, man.
The fight tattoo guy. What are we getting?
Man.
How's it going, guys?
Shit, I'm getting all this Mickey Mouse operation fixed that I had put on my arm about a couple years ago. But
definitely a unique way to get an interview done, man. I love it. But I want to get right into it, right? So I'm joined, first of all, I'm joined by Ryan Reber, right? This time post-fight. He picked up the DQ win over Jack Grady in a highly anticipated fight. You know, Grady headbutted Ryan twice, leading to the DQ. But, you know, where all the questions lie, what all the people want to know is about the brawl that went viral. And, of course, what's next for you after the fight. So I wanted to get you on to talk a little bit about that. We won't take up too much of your time. You know, I'm sure you've been asked, a lot about this. But first and foremost, right, it was a wild weekend. You know, a lot of stuff happened. How are you feeling, man? Like, you know, what's going on with you right now?
Fuck, man. You know, it's still just all kind of just trying to grasp the hold of everything. You know what I mean? It was just a wild fucking, just exactly like you said, man. I mean, coming into it, I mean, you know, he would have to do a lot more than his little antics to even break me out of even character, to make me even feel some type of way about, you know, wanting to fight him, whatever, man. And, you know, I don't know, man. I just, at first I was a little disappointed, obviously, because of the way it went down. I really wanted to knock this fucking dude out. You know, that's first and foremost what I wanted to do and what was going to definitely happen. You know, and like I say to people, man, like, I don't train for a motherfucker like him. If I would have known that's the way he was going to act, I would have paid 2 crackheads to come into the gym, put boxing gloves on, and say, come at me. You know what I mean? Like, I train with professionals, man, you know, so to end up in a situation like that, it kind of took me a little bit out of my element, you know, and I had to adjust, but adjust is what I always do. You know, I've done it in my last 2 fights and I was going to do it again. And I mean, my intuition when I was against the ropes, just, it kept telling me, stay here, let him weather the storm, and he's gonna gas. You know what I mean? He wasn't, because he damn sure wasn't gonna box with me in the center of that ring. And, you know, I kind of that was the mindset at there. You know what I mean? Everything else had kind of gone out the window. You know what I mean? I was just, you know, he was definitely coming at me. He was definitely strong, and that's about all he had. You know, and when he realized he couldn't get me the way that he wanted to get me, even trying to throw some illegal shit, you know, that's what I think led on to more of the illegal shit, you know. And dumbass is all I gotta say. You know, I popped in on his podcast yesterday with Hank. I'm playing Hank, and yeah, I don't think he expected me to pop in on that, and I popped in on it and gave him a little piece of my mind on there too, man. And, you know, unfortunately, man, there probably won't be a rematch because he can't be trusted. You know what I mean? Like, would I want to fight him again? Absolutely. Would I fight him again? Absolutely. But, you know, I just, with a character like him, man, how is that? How would he is he gonna do the same shit? So I mean,
and I'm curious, man, because I got 2 questions. Because I didn't hear you say that. I listened to a couple of the things you did on Planet Hank before this, after the fight, and it didn't seem like you even wanted to give him that rematch. You didn't even want to give him that time. But has something like changed in your mind?
No, not really, because, you know, I think he would just come out the exact same. You know, he said on the podcast he didn't regret anything he did, and that furthermore kind of sealed, you know, in my mind, that he's just a crazy fucking dude. You know, and they all knew it. Hank knew it coming in there. Hank knew what kind of person he was. And I think, you know, the people who really knew this dude really wanted to test my character and to see how I would react to something like that. But, like, I don't know if I was talking about it on your last podcast or somebody else's podcast or whatever, man. I'm a hard motherfucker to break, bro. I've been put in some real shitty life situations that, you know, really should have broke me, that didn't break me, man. So this fighting shit, you know, even at the highest level, because I've always, as soon as I got into this, man, I looked at myself like I was already on the highest level. You know what I mean? So then when you get in there with opponents that aren't on the highest level, it flows pretty, I don't want to say easy, but pretty good. You know what I mean? And to beat me, man, it's gonna take a real champion mindset. It's gonna take a real champion character. It's gonna take a real champion period. You know what I mean? And that kid wasn't doing it. He caught me a couple times to the back of the head where it kind of briefly, you know, I don't even want to say shut my lights off, but gave me that spark to where it was like, damn, all right, that one kind of hurt. Damn, that one kind of hurt. But the more I started to, you know, kind of dig my elbow in between his elbow to kind of slow the momentum of the punches down when he was throwing them, you know, it takes off a good, significant amount of the blow to where, like, if you're a tough dude, you ain't getting dropped with shit like that. You know what I mean? That shit wasn't gonna drop me. He would have needed range. He would have needed, you know, to maybe get me with a lucky overhand. But the way that I view things, man, and the way that, you know, I want to look at myself as spiritually protected. You ain't catching me with no lucky shit. This ain't about luck, man. It's about, you know, what you putting into it. What's, you know, how serious are you really taking this shit? And a lot of these guys aren't really seriously taking it, you know, because a lot of these guys are either at the end of their fight career, or they're, you know, just this is all they had. They didn't make it in boxing, they didn't make it in MMA. I never turned pro in either one of them. I could have been a pretty successful boxer, but, you know, age was also telling me different. I know what that game, you know, involves, and I didn't really, you know, care to dabble in it too much. The promotions, the people, there's a lot of them are scumbags, especially around where, you know, I'm at. So, you know, and plus you're not getting paid shit. And I can promise you this, getting hit with a boxing glove full on, that impact is a lot different than getting hit with a knuckle. Getting hit with a knuckle, wherever you get hit with it, only that area hurts. And it's not as much of it is a hard blow. It's I don't know, man. It's I'd hate to say you got to experience it, because I don't really want, you know what I mean? Not a lot
I'm
of people
good.
want to get experience getting hit with a knuckle, you know
Yeah,
what
I'll
I mean?
pass.
But it's a different kind of, you know, it's a different kind of hit, man. So, like, yeah, my head's sore, but I mean, like I said, like, look at me, man, nothing. He did nothing to me. And, you know, the crazy thing about it is I ran into the little fucker outside the event probably about 5 hours before. I was walking out with Ryan Perez and G, the cut man, and we were walking over to his goddamn Bentley, chopping it up. And there he was sitting there with Zach and his manager Sweeney, and he kind of like looked down, looked back at me, and then was like, all right, I got to do something. And jumped up and was like screaming and was like, you're in my space. You're in my space. I'm like, bro, you are a fucking clown. Takes his shirt off, starts flexing on me. And Zach kind of like contained him. And then, I kind of approached him a little bit more, just kind of like talking shit, pointing in his face, like laughing. And I was like, the only thing I could really remember is him saying, I'm going to cut you. I'm going to cut you. So, I mean, like, in hearing him say that and the way that he said it, it just furthermore proves that he was in that fight for saying, I mean, bro, there was no genuine beef. I still don't even got genuine beef with him and all that shit. He
That's what
was
I was
like,
gonna say.
he said he
I
was
saw the
gonna kill
podcast with you
me.
guys. Yeah, I saw the
You
couple of the
fucking
podcasts
say,
with you
like, bro,
guys.
I said one thing like you're gonna die, Shady. I mean, come on, bro. It's a fucking fight, dude. I wasn't coming in there with my gun. I wasn't coming in there with a knife. And I
I didn't
genuinely
feel any
feel,
genuine heat between you guys and the stuff that I saw, like the podcast and all that. It just felt like you guys were fighting each other. It was just as
yeah, it
personal as
was, you
that.
know, he was trying to sell it a little bit, but I mean, you know, it pissed me off before the weigh-in, the media weigh-ins, when I seen him in the hallway before we kind of filed in, and I was laughing at him once again, because a motherfucker like that I just can't take serious. And I was pointing at him. I said, bro, you better not get in my motherfucking face screaming. And he sure as shit got in my face screaming, and that's kind of why I kind of nudged him with my head and pushed him back the fuck off me, because he spit in my face while he was screaming. And that's when the beef kind of got like, I'm sick of this bastard, bro. And Julian was like, bro, he fucking does that shit again, bro. I'm gonna go fucking say something, bro. He pissed him off too. You know what I mean? He was like,
Yeah.
you know, so he was already on edge over the shit. So when all that shit happened in the ring, you know, fucking Dave, Julian fucking came flying in there, and Julian wasn't coming in there to hit him. I think he just more wanted to kind of yoke his ass up to like a you know, you fucking told you, man, don't be playing those antics here, bro,
Yeah.
because you know, man, you don't do shit like that, man. And that's basically what I told him too, man. I'm like, what's your fucking excuse, bro? Let's hear it. What do you honestly got to say, bro? And you can say whatever you want, bro, but it's not going to make sense because we all know, the real ones know, you found your way out of that fight because you did what you did. You headbutted me, you elbowed me, you fucking choked me, bro. There was like 4 or 5 different things that he did that didn't even get called. That's why I punched his ass after the break, because he literally had me in a guillotine to the point where I was like, and he let me go. And Andrew Glenn was in the middle of us, and I fucking punched him in the mouth just because it was a reaction. Like, bro, you ain't gonna keep pulling little. I think at one point in time, he may even try to eye gouge me. You know what I mean? Like, he was literally in there to fucking hurt me in all the ways that he couldn't. You know what I mean?
Is this
and
the weirdest fight you've ever been in? Like, just terms of
oh,
everything,
fuck
the
yeah.
lead up,
I mean,
everything.
just 100%, man. Even in the streets, I never even, like, people, I was such a genuine dude. You really didn't have to fuck with me, man. You know what I mean? I didn't get into fucking any beefs, and then when I did, we handled the situation. You know what I mean? And it was never on no crazy, never fight anybody like that, bro. And like I said, you don't train for nobody like that, so it's even different. And I mean, I also knew too, like, when I ran into Ryan Perez at fucking the little White Castle out there, like 3 a.m, because that was the only place open. And we, fucking, I'm eating like a pig now. So I went over there with the White Castle, and I ran into him, and he was laughing, and he was like, yeah, I talked to Shady, and he was like, yeah, man, I wasn't hurting him with the punches. So I guess the next best thing, I just try to headbutt him, and I'm like, dude, what a fucking, he laughed, I laughed. And then I called him out on the show, and I said, bro, you didn't tell Ryan Perez that you tried to fucking, you couldn't hurt me with your hand, so you wanted to headbutt me. So he was like, you know what I mean, like, no response. You know what I mean, like,
Yeah. And what about what he said before or what about what he said? Because I know Hank asked him also, why did you headbutt him? Just overall, why? And he said because you threatened his life before the fight. What about that? Can you address that?
I fucking didn't threaten his life. Stop with the lies, man. I don't even think let me really think hard about this. There was never a moment that I said I was going to kill him, bro. You know what I mean? Unless it would have been something like, man, I'm gonna kill your ass. You know what I mean? Like, something nonchalant. They literally, listen, I talked to Chancey after the fights, which is another funny little bastard he is. He goes, man, that motherfucker was in the back room, and he was like, yo, I'm gonna kill this motherfucker. I'm gonna kill this motherfucker. He's like, bro, and I thought he was gonna kill you, bro. I was like, that's hilarious, man. Like, I was like, nah, bro. He didn't have what it takes to kill me, man. Now, and I told Grady, I said, look, if you even had the slightest bit of technique and maybe a little bit better boxing with that sort of craziness and tenacity and energy, and if you had the endurance to match it, bro, I mean, like, I could tell you this, man, like, if I was anybody less, bro, he probably would have ran right through him. No bullshit, man.
Is he better than you thought he was?
I wouldn't say better than I thought he was, because he wouldn't box me. He was definitely a lot fucking crazier than I thought he was gonna be. Like, I wasn't really buying into all the fucking hype behind his, you know what I mean, all his craziness. But yeah, bro, I don't really know. Like, they swear to God he wasn't on no drugs, bro. But I don't know how you could fucking act like that, man. I mean, I don't know if it's. I've always been a calm ass dude. You know what I mean? So. And then the meditation on top of it has controlled my mind even more to where I can remain calm in those volatile fucking madness situations. So, I mean, for him to be in there and not pull me out of my composure to really want to scrap with him to where I could get caught with something in an exchange from a distance, like I said, man, I kind of just knew what to do, man. And unfortunately it was to rope-a-dope him. I kind of felt like I should just rope-a-dope him because he's not going to hurt me with none of this shit. But then when he started throwing the fucking headbutts because he knew he wasn't going to hurt me. And then what happened? We got on the outside after the first round, after he choked me and I threw the fucking punch. We then, the round was over. The other round began. I was beating him in the boxing. I jabbed him, cut his eye open. I hit him with the 4-piece and I watched his face go. And he was like, he was about to be done. And he rushed me again, threw the crazy punches, and threw the fucking headbutt and got his way out of there. You know what I mean?
He's obviously trying to make it a dirty fight inside. Did any of that stuff land on you? Anything? It doesn't look like you took any big damage.
Nah, I mean, no, thank God. Nothing like flush. Like if I would have been like this and bow, it hit my head and blasted it back. Oh my, bro, I probably would have been so fucking mad. You know what I mean? But luckily it didn't. Like he did, I don't know, like if he tried to do it in like a quick way to where it couldn't be seen, or like if he just at that point didn't give a fuck and was really blatantly. I just really feel like, man, he wanted to come out of that fight and he knew he was gonna lose. I felt like he knew he was gonna lose, but he wanted to be able to point the finger and say, "I cut you, I cut you." That's like his thing, bro. Like he kept saying that shit to Travis. I also like, I don't know if you heard any of that, but like, because Travis was obviously with, he stayed with me for a little bit in my camp and he was down here in Florida and shit. So we talked all about it. He just, all he would ever say to Travis anytime he would see him is, "I cut you. I cut you." Travis is like, "I don't give a fuck. You gave me a boo-boo, bro." You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody cares, Grady. Like you're thinking about this shit the wrong way. And I mean, for him to be like, I am the BKFC. I got us. Yeah, bro, you more or less got me clout. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm the one that didn't look like a fucking idiot in there like you did. You know what I mean? So and I heard him saying, "I'm getting all this hate mail and this and that." I mean, it's like, as well as you should be, bro. I'm not going to furthermore throw salt in the wound. If they came to me and asked me, "Well, since you're the victim, do you think you should get paid?" I'd be like, absolutely, pay the fucking dude. Because he got me paid for the fucking 3 easiest minutes of my life, bro. Whether a fucking bullshit storm come out with no injury, no hand injury, nothing, and I could be back in the gym as quick as tomorrow, and which I'm going to be, because me and Reggie had a nice little discussion in the hallway, and I'm not going to talk too much on it, but just know that that's going to be coming here in the soon future for the bag. That's going to be the money fight right there. So, we look on probably getting me one more. And who that's gonna be, I'm not sure, man. Whatever me and Julian sit down and discuss, and Nate wants to discuss, and whoever else is involved in it wants to discuss.
And that's what I wanted to ask you. Absolutely. And I want to get into that, but I want to ask you one more question. I do feel like you want to move on from the whole Grady stuff, right?
Man, whatever, bro. I'm ranting the fuck on, whatever.
Yeah, bro. No. But I want to ask you just one, not in general, but I want to ask you one more question specifically about Grady, because I feel like you kind of want to move on with this. And I want to talk about what's next. You just hinted at it. But let me ask you this. I heard him say that there's going to be a hearing, something like that, on the 16th to determine, his job and what went down during the fight. Do you think that the BKFC is going to bring him back?
It's hard to say, because I feel like there's a part of me that says it's bad for business, but then there's the other part of me that says it's entertaining as fuck. You know what I mean? And he is definitely a character that people are more than most definitely going to want to see get knocked the fuck out. And if he really could get his shit together genuinely and not pull no stunts like that. But I mean, do you risk that? Or are other fighters going to want to risk that? I mean, I'm the only one up to this point that he pulled that shit with, but and that's probably genuinely because he really wanted to beat me. And I mean, sorry, brother. You know what I'm saying? Like you should have did that shit with your hands, bro. You know what I mean? If you really thought you could beat me, bro, he would have tried to beat me, and I mean, and I can't really speak upon that too much, man, because I don't know either way, it wouldn't bother me, because I don't think I'd ever see him again. You know what I'm saying? In this ring, he'd never make it up to the level where I look to go. And But I would love to see him fight like a Diaz. I'd love to see him fight like a high energy guy. But I really, even with those high energy guys, he's gonna wear down because he doesn't train. It was exactly like I said. I mean, were we talking about him, training at the YMCA, the shit that I heard, all the fucking, you know what I mean? That's why I pay attention to shit like that, man, because, in the back of my mind, I know that. You know what I'm saying? I know that. So I'm like, man, I'm weathering this fucking storm. You know what I mean? And yeah, I could have gone on my bike and I could have used my footwork. My coach was so pissed. He's like, man, you got the best boxing in the gym. What the fuck are you doing? I'm like, listen, man, this is a little bit different too than boxing. Oh, I almost lost you guys. I said this is a little bit different too than boxing, man. You know what I mean? It's not the same. Yeah, this just because I go into a boxing fight like this doesn't mean I go into one of these. What makes me good is the fact that I have training in gung fu, I have training in karate, I have training in MMA, I have training in other backgrounds. I'm not just a boxer. You know what I mean? So there's certain rough situations that you put yourself in with a motherfucker like that don't really know how to fight, and you got to adapt, man. I got to use different techniques, or I got to use that. And there was other things too, like a lot of people don't know this, but I didn't get shit for sleep, bro. I don't know what it was. I couldn't sleep, and it wasn't even just the nerves, man. It was just where my energy was off, man. I couldn't get no sleep. It was like I'd go to sleep and then I'd wake back up, and then I'd go to sleep and start dreaming weird. But it was only like, and I mean, I could have calculated, I mean, 2 hours if I was lucky. So I'm running on 2 hours of sleep. Then I gotta fight this fucking high energy, messed out looking motherfucker ready to kill me, bro, for real. Like he was ready to try to kill me, bro, and that's what he did. He just, like anything necessary he could do to try to take my fucking head off is what he did. And like I said, I didn't break composure. I did a little bit when I punched him after the it wasn't even after the bell, but as he went to split us up. But other than that, man, I mean, that was just to try to tell this motherfucker, stop doing what you're doing, man, or I'm gonna play dirty. Because I could throw nice elbows. I could have fucking hit his ass with an elbow. Be like, oopsie, oopsie. You know what I'm saying? But I gave him a fair chance, man. I gave him a fair chance. He was gonna gas out and get knocked the fuck out, bro. That's not my fault. You know what I mean? So go ahead and try to hit me with a my leg hurts too. Like somebody fucking need me. And I don't know if it was him that needed me or I got need in the mix of everybody throwing me back. Cause, after I flipped him off and he came at me, I got another punch in there, man. You know what I'm saying? I hit that motherfucker one more time and felt good, cause I really wanted to fucking break his jaw for talking all that shit and spitting in my face and acting, because people got to understand, man, that shit's exciting. But as a real fighter, it don't have to go down like that, bro. Be real to yourself, man. That's not who you are. That's not who the fuck you are. And then you're gonna try to make me get out of character. You know what I'm saying? And I had to hold my best to stay in character. But like I said, after that weigh-in, man, it was on and popping. I was like, I'm gonna try to spark this dude. But I knew I wasn't gonna go out there and just try to beat him up right away. You know what I mean? I was gonna play strategic with him. And, because he gave me that type of fight, I just was like, all right, he's gonna gas, man. He did it. And he tried to do it again. And there was no fucking way he was keeping that energy. It just wasn't happening because, what a lot of people don't understand with all those antics beforehand, that's really fear trying to leave his body. When you got to scream and you got to fucking, you know what I mean, dude, you're wasting energy. And what he did to me the morning of the fight, in the afternoon, and how he acted and how he screamed, like, bro, I'm like a resting fucking lion, bro. I barely am walking around. You know what I'm saying? I'm just chilling, man. I'm just conserving all this energy and, to utilize it on him. I don't think he understands that or got that. You know what I mean? Still doesn't. I mean, some people are just in this shit for the clout, man. And he's one of those guys. I'm sure you've seen the little crazy hype video that he had. This motherfucker that went on Planet Hank. Did you see that shit?
No.
Oh my God. Get you a laugh after and go watch it. I mean, dude was literally in the BKFC tryouts in New York. And he was like, he's in the crowd. He's got his hand wraps on. He's like, do they got a pension plan? He's like, I want them all. I want them all. Who? Reggie? I'll fight Reggie. He's like, what's the other dude? Bedford. I'll fight Bedford. Sign him up. He's like 135, 135. Go home. Go home. Go. I'm here. Blood red everything. I'm like, this is the fucking guy I just literally had me fight. I knew nothing about this dude besides his shitty ass boxing record. Other than that, I knew nothing about him. And then the more I thought about it, and I do got so much love for Hank, but that motherfucker did try to set me up, bro. I think they really thought this kid could beat me, bro. I really do. I think they thought he had what it takes to be crazy enough to get into my fucking head and beat me, man. And like I said, man, the universe is putting these key players in front of me in the exact moment, in the exact time, in the way that I needed to prepare me for the highest level of this shit. And I truly, honestly believe that, man. And people are paying attention now, and they're recognizing that shit. And they're like, you know what? You're gonna be a champion soon. You're gonna be a champion soon. And you know, that's what I'm going for, man. You know, is that motherfucking belt. And I said it as soon as I started into this shit, man. I was like, that's what I'm going for, because I can't just get my feet wet, man. I gotta go. I'm all in. You know what I mean? This isn't, hey, I'm gonna get one or I'm gonna get two. No, man, I'm all in. I'm gonna have that fucking chain around my neck, man, with that belt. And that's what I want. That's the end result. And I'll defend it, catch another bag, and you know, maybe I'll defend it again, and then I'll ride off into the sunset, man. And you know what? My martial arts complete, 17-year career, it will be completed, man. I'll feel like I could actually fucking die knowing that I did what I wanted to do. And it ain't about the money. You know what I'm saying? I don't care how much money I make off of this, because I feel like eventually I'm going to run into some other people that make money that are going to show me how to make money without this. You know what I mean? But you need, I felt like you need to be in it to make it. You know what I'm saying? Pretty much. You know what I mean? And not just in this, but like you gotta put yourself on you gotta do shit people ain't willing to do, man. You gotta put yourself in situations no matter what it is. You know what I mean? And from here, I want to be an inspiration to other people, regular ass people that thought they couldn't do it, that said they could. You know how many fucking people wrote me off, man? Everybody, every single person, because my last couple amateur fights, they weren't good, man. They were good, but I wasn't winning. So imagine, man, my parents, my lady at one point in time, a lot of people were just like, yeah, maybe you should hang this up. Maybe this isn't for you. But me, I knew what was going on. I knew what was taking place. You know what I mean? These opponents were coming up to me and they were like, damn, man, you almost knocked me out. Or damn, bro, that was a tough fight. Or damn, bro, like, I think my jaw's broke. Like every opponent literally came up to me and said something. It sparked a little bit more confidence in me. And then when this bare knuckle shit came along, like I said, the universe, as long as you're open-minded and you're doing the right things behind closed doors will open for you, bro. They will. You just have to remain humble. You have to remain pushing forward. You have to remain focused. You have to stay away from the gritty shit, the drugs, the negative fucking people. When I changed my environment and my circle and my friends, that's when I really started to conquer shit. You know what I mean? Because I didn't have negative people around me. They may have thought that they weren't negative, but shit is hidden in disguised in jokes. Shit is hidden in disguised in people's actions. You know what I mean? So like anybody who didn't suit my needs or I had to argue with more than fucking once, guess what? You ain't in my life no more, man. Sorry. You know what I mean? I ain't mad at you. I don't not like you, but you ain't in my life no more, man. Hey, there's just too much. There's too much. You shouldn't have to be friends with anybody and have arguments. Disagreements is one thing, but arguments is a total different thing. And the shit that flies out of people's mouth at an argument, after an argument, or during an argument, man, that really defines people, man. And like I said, once I stayed away from that shit, I started winning. I started winning in life, man, and that's why I stuck with this. And I mean, my story, bro, is the things, the pressure that could have busted my pipes, instead they formed the diamond, man. And Those are stories for a different podcast and a different day, man, but they're coming. You know what I mean? Those
Sure.
stories are coming, and David Feldman always asked that, what's your why? That's my fucking why, man. And like I said, I don't do it. I don't do it for the money. I don't do it for the fame, man. I do it to complete myself, to complete, what I started 17 years ago. I'm gonna finish, and I'm gonna finish it on top of my game, and then turn around and look back and be like, I'm fucking hell of I went above and beyond to where I even imagined I can go, and I can show the new generation how to do it, because they're fucking lost. You know what I mean? This new generation of kids is lost, and at least I have kids to pass it on to their friends and be like, you know what I'm saying? Look who my dad is. Look what he did. You know what I mean, man? And that's what
Yeah,
that
man.
shit's about.
Absolutely. I think that's sound advice. Looks like you got everything dialed in right now in your life, mentally, physically, and I think that's what matters. But again, that's great advice. You're 3-0 now, right? I mean, what do you think? You just hinted at it a few times. What do you think should be next for you? Are you looking to get in there with like a ranked guy and then maybe go for the title? That's what you want?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. And I mean, it's up to them to decide who that rank guy is going to be. I mean, whether it's Jared Grant, um, Diaz. I don't know where Diaz ranks now. You know what I mean? Me and Travis, we have some pretty good history. So I mean, that's not a fight that I really
Yeah, would you
want.
fight
But
him? I know you guys are friends.
right, so I mean, that's not. I don't really think it's a fight that either one of us want. But I mean, if that's it just depends on what they're telling me, man. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know. I mean, at the end of the day, everybody's gonna have to be fought eventually. You know what I mean? Especially when I'm up there at that highest level. So I look to get back into the gym immediately, and get back to the drawing board and work on my weaknesses, man. And just keep grinding, and whatever they give me, be 100% ready for, because I prepare at a time in peace. That's our motto, man. And that's why I'm able to you know mentally and physically withstand a lot of this shit. You know what I mean? That's you don't want to be like, oh fuck, I got a fight coming up, man. I guess it's time to get ready. You know what I mean? That's not the way to go about this business. You know what I mean? So I stay ready, man, and I look to you know, have my run at that fucking title, man.
Yeah.
That's next.
If Dave Feldman comes to you, though, he says you could have any matchup you want besides the champion, who would you want to fight? Obviously, you wouldn't want to fight Travis, but there's some fun matchups in there.
God damn, man. Just because me and Diaz got I think we're the swaggiest fighters in this shit, man. That shit would be fun.
He's
Me
4
and
right
Diaz,
now.
huh?
He's 4 right now. So that'd be a fun fight and a good fight for you to get in the rankings.
Yep. And I mean, that's how I'd probably chip him off 4. And then who's behind him? Jared Grant. But I mean, if they were gonna just throw me into that title contention, man, you know, after one of these ranked guys, I could be ready for that title contention. So whoever it is, man, I know Jared's fighting this weekend, and he's fighting or no, I'm sorry, not this weekend, but on the 3rd of December, and he's fighting one of my local guys at 145. So I
Right.
don't know what the fuck's up with that. And obviously, depending on how that fight goes for him, that means another thing. So the rankings are weird in this shit. You guys already know that. I mean, they had Diaz ahead of me, which I don't really understand, because how was he 2-0 with 2 complete fights, and I'm 2-0 with 2 finishes, but he's ranked number 5 or 4?
Yeah, well,
See what
that
I'm
might
saying?
change now, right? You think
Oh,
that could change?
100%. It's
Yeah.
got to change, because I mean, who besides the 1-0 guys, who's undefeated?
Right. You're 3-0. Like,
Palomino.
there's not a lot of
Yeah,
3-0
that's
guys there that are at least that are not ranked. Like, it's hard to find a 3-0 guy that wouldn't be ranked at this point.
no, they're not, man. So, and I mean, and look, anybody could say, well, you fought Rick and you fought this guy, but I mean, bro, those still were professional athletes that had each combined 21 professional more rounds than I had. And Rick was at his best. You know what I mean? And I'd love to see Rick at his best again in that 135-pound division, just to see what he could to do on a fresh come out, because he never got a fair shake. You know what I mean? So I'd like to see to see him. So I don't really look at it like that. And then I mean, my first guy, he was a debut like me, and I mean, as confident as he was coming into that fight, he fucking deactivated his Facebook after that. I'll tell you that, you know, that's how much it changed him. And I don't know what he's doing nowadays, but, you know, apparently he was running his mouth fucking heavily about me. So, you know, for no reason. And like I said, man, there's no need for all that shit, bro. No need
Yeah.
for all that shit in this sport, man. You know what I mean? I get people want to sell and do this and do that, man, but there's other ways to go about it. You don't have to lie to yourself in the universe, man, because you'll get exposed under them bright lights. So
Absolutely. And when are you
know,
looking to get back in there? Last question. When can we see you back in there? Or what can you expect to? Because you don't know. Obviously, there's a lot of things that you can't control.
yeah, I
right?
guess
But
it plays on opponents because I mean, obviously, the guys who I'm eyeing either just fought or they're fighting. And because I'm trying to think who the fuck
True.
else who we got. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
like I mean, I'm cool at this point in time because it's a fresh year to just stay at the drawing board and stay fighting and probably pick something up. And I'd say, even if it were to be, you know, February, March, April, you know what I mean? And then keep that run going. Obviously, when I hit the ground running, man. I mean, there's not a lot of people either that can honestly say that they did 3 fucking bare knuckle fights in a goddamn year. You know what I'm saying? That's like, I mean, I don't really recall a whole lot. Maybe I think Julian maybe did it one time. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's not a lot. You know what I mean? So, you know, luckily I'm getting out of these pretty good, man. Haven't had no cuts. Haven't had no injuries. Haven't had no hand injuries. The guys that I would, you know, obviously think that I would be fighting, we just fought or they came back. But I mean, you know, it depends on how guys heal too. So I'd say probably another 3 months, 4 tops. But I don't even want it to be that long. I'd say 3.
Awesome,
3
man.
months.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
That's
know,
good.
depending on what they're throwing at me and stuff too, man. You know, I come to these fucking shows, man, and you know, I sell a lot of tickets. I bring a lot to the table, man, and I need to, from these higher up, start getting my fucking respect and recognition. You know, Dave Feldman came to me at one point in time, looked me in the eyes and said, "You want to make some fucking money? Well, I want to make some fucking money, bro." And you know, for these past 2 shows, it's been me making that money. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm for what I'm putting in ticket sales, I'm not even getting fucking, I'd say, half of that back. You know what I mean? Even for them to pay for a room for me, for my hotel room, and for me to fight, they're still making profit off on me in ticket sales. You know what I'm saying? So it's like we need to work some numbers out in the next one. And I mean, for what they gave me for this fight, damn sure wasn't enough for that crazy bastard. I can tell you that. Like, if I would have known I was gonna have to deal with all that shit, I would have fucking either said no or wanted more money. But then there's the other side of me that was like, that was pretty fucking easy for, you know what I mean, 3 minutes of my time to make what I made. So, you know, it's a double-edged sword, but you know, it is what it is.
Yeah. And how many
just,
fights left do you have on the deal? How many fights?
I'm not on no deal.
Oh, okay. So it's not like a fight to fight kind of thing.
Yep.
Okay.
I like that, and I like to keep it like that, man. Unless they're gonna throw now we could talk numbers. You know what I'm saying? Now we could talk numbers. So, you know, whatever they're thinking for me, man. But I want them to fucking take care of me, man, because I take care of them. You know what I'm saying? So if they're gonna fucking take care of me, man, I'm here to stay, and I'm here to put in the fucking the real honest work and effort, man. I mean, I don't really believe that you'll ever see a boring fight from me, man. You know what I mean? It's always gonna be technical. It's always gonna be raw. It's always gonna be good, man. And then when you get idiots in the mix of it, it could be explosive like it was. You know what I mean? So I
Yeah.
don't know, man.
Absolutely.
I just
Well,
I look forward to the future, man.
yeah, absolutely. And we look forward to your future, man. You know, you got a really bright one. It seems like we just about covered it all. So I'm just gonna say that wraps it up there. Ryan Reber, 3-0 BKFC with an exciting future ahead of him. Thanks for coming on the show again, my friend. And we're excited for
Absolutely.
your future again. And let's see what's next for you.
Hey, man, I appreciate you having me on, brother.